Welcome to Overtime with Jared P, Johnny O, and Jeremy P. Regular contributor now to the show. We love having him on. We're going to get into NFL Power 5. We're going to talk a little about the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy. We're going to talk maybe a little bit about the Bears and Lane Kiffin. But first, let's go to our title sponsor, all the way to the right of me, Jeremy Phillips, Elite Performance Chiropractic. Let people know what you're all about.
Hi, Jeremy Phillips, owner of Elite Performance Chiropractic, right here beside Village Tavern here in Greensboro. We are, treat every aspect of patients, very active patient base, whether you're running your first 5K or just want to play with your grandkids. But we're also offering a new service we're really excited about. It's IDD therapy. It's people that have been diagnosed with disc herniation, disc bulges. It's alternative approach instead of just jumping straight to surgery, which oftentimes back surgeries do fail. And we're having remarkable results with it and a great alternative to surgery.
Excellent.
Hey, let me ask a quick question, because I did have a question, or a listener asked me about, I don't know, do you accept, what is it, Medicare or Medicaid or whatever the hell it is?
Medicare, yeah. Are they an elderly patient or, of 65? Yeah.
66?
Yeah. We're in network with the Medicare stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's got some aches and pains. He's my golf buddy, and fix him, will you, so he stops complaining, man.
No more excuses. And Jeremy, just so you know, if Johnny's talking about one of his friends, it's not me. They're going to be on Medicare. So,
he's up that age demographic, huh?
He doesn't look like it. He looks good, but he's up there.
I don't need this. It's Thanksgiving week. What are you trying to hit a man while he's down a little bit here?
I hear you. All right, this NFL Power 5. Johnny, since we hurt your feelings, you can start with number 5.
All right, my number 5. God, I almost put 3 AFC teams in my 5, and that's just ridiculous. I can't do that. The NFC is so strong; it's unbelievable. My number 5 are the Seattle Seahawks. I looked at their schedule. The next 3 games, they got the Vikings, Falcons, and then the Colts. Okay, I'm not saying anything against the Colts because they're still a pretty good team, but those next 3 games, that's going to keep Seattle in that race down there in the West, NFC West. So I'm going to go with them. Sam Darnold's still doing okay. I'm trying to learn how to say his name, but this wide receiver they got, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I guess is how he's got 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. I thought he would have more touchdowns than that, but he's lighting it up, and he's really making Sam Darnold look good. I had to keep. That was the only other NFC team, or I just didn't want another 3 AFC. So Seattle just got in on my number 5 pick.
All right, number 5 for me is the Indianapolis Colts. The heartbreaking loss in KC. The way the game was going, they would have been much higher in my Power 5. In Kansas City, as we know, is a very tough place to win. And Johnny, from the beginning of the season, my biggest concern about the Colts is Daniel Jones in crunch time. And in crunch time, that offense just didn't show up at all, including Taylor and Jonathan Taylor. And they weren't even giving him the ball. It's really not his fault. It was like, talk about a team that like totally just melted under pressure in that fourth quarter specifically. And so the Colts, but that team is good. That's a freaking good team. And outside of Daniel Jones freezing up, I would have to keep them in my Power 5 because they have too many good things, too many good points of attack with Taylor, of course, and Daniel Jones, at least for the first 3 quarters, looked great. And their defense is they got a really good, fast, athletic defense. So I have them at number 5. What about you, Jeremy?
I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 5 as well. I think they panicked in that game. I'm sure they're kicking themselves watching the film. But I think, they got away from Taylor, which drives me crazy. And I think if they'd have stuck with him, they could have came out of KC with the win. Hats off to KC. They did everything they could, but I'm telling you, even with home field, they didn't win convincingly, you know. So, but I'm sure the Colts are kicking themselves. I think when they had the lead there at the beginning of the fourth and stuff, they could have juiced the clock a little bit more by handing the ball to Taylor, and they didn't. They put the ball in Danny Dimes' hands, and I'm not saying he folded. I just think they got away from their game plan. They got away from what's been getting them there, what's been getting them through the whole season, and I'd be willing to bet they're kicking themselves after watching that film because that game was easily winnable.
They
And
had it.
that would have put them at that key 9 wins with 6 games remaining. I mean, that would have been great situation for them.
And it put
Absolutely.
put Kansas City, back in the conversation,
Sure.
Absolutely. Jeremy, at number 4, we'll go back the other way. At number 4, what do you have for your Power 5?
I got Philly at 4. I'm with Johnny O. He kind of hit on this last week. That offense coordinator, man. I mean, I don't know what we're doing in Philly, but I mean, they got all the weapons, all the pieces. Their defense is outstanding, but it's not like it's just their play calling, their timely play calling. They looked gangbusters at the beginning, and then I don't know if they just kind of started playing instead of playing to win and stepping on the Cowboys' throats. They kind of played not to lose and got too conservative, and it came back to bite them.
Yeah.
Again, Saquon is just as talented as he was last year, so I just don't think he's getting the ball in great situations. I just think that something's going on with the play calling in Philadelphia.
Let me go with my number 4 because it's the same. It's the Eagles. And man, Jeremy, I can't agree with you more. They almost need to make a change at that offensive coordinator. It's crazy because I'm just going to bring up one example. 3rd and 2 at the end of the game, and he has Jalen fade back, 10 yards to throw a pass. That's not Philadelphia Eagle football. And he got sacked, and then gave Dallas that chance. But
I'll tell you what, if they lose this week to the Bears, I look for something like that drastically to happen, or at least play calling responsibilities get turned over to Sirianni or somebody. If they lose to the Bears this week, they're under the microscope.
That should have been Sunday. They should have did that move Sunday. But
sure.
Couple things. Saquon is not turning it up. This is not a good thing. I mean, he just looks slow and all that. I know he's not finding the holes, but we put in this other guy, Tank Bigsby. I know he's only, he's carried about 30 times, but he's averaging 7 yards a carry when he goes in. Something's missing. And I saw a couple highlights of Saquon, making the turn for a first down and with guys, the defender, yards away and not making that first down. He's slipping, he's doing this and that. The offense looked so good in the first half. It was driving me crazy what was going on in the second half. It is the offensive coordinator. Hurts, AJ, and Devontae Smith are in sync right now. How did they get away from that? I don't understand, and that is play calling. Patullo needs to be replaced. And one other thing, I'm just giving this a guarantee that I'm going to get off my Eagles. Kept them at number 4. I'm going to guarantee a double-digit victory on Friday against the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
Record it, and it's at least a double-digit, 10 points. But I'm thinking it's going to be more. I think this is going to be when the Bears start going down after this week.
Okay. Well, spoken like a true Eagles fan. At number 4, and they really should be higher, the Kansas City Chiefs. In the first half, actually going to the fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, they're out of my Power 5. Their season's over. I'm going to stop talking about them. And then the greatest team of the last 6 years, consistently, the Kansas City Chiefs, found a way to win. And again, we know if they're in the playoffs, no one wants to face them. I still have concerns. Like Mahomes, even though he threw for like 350 yards, it's like he seems more unsure of himself than he did his rookie year. I mean, he only played one game his rookie year, his first full year in the league, where I'm like, and he didn't seem that unsure his first full year. He's so good. He had like 350 yards passing, but it's a lot of holding on to the ball and like not making quick reads, which he was doing when they had that 2 or 3 game winning streak and they granted the teams weren't great they were playing. They said it was the quickest release of so far his career of like 2.7 seconds. That has slowed down, but he's also played, two or three great defenses in a row, and so that it does make it more difficult. But I don't know, something's off with them. But you beat a very good Colts team. They could have easily just said folded and said this is it for us, and it's not our year. And they fought. I mean, I think the Colts are really, really good. I can see the Colts in the Super Bowl, and so they beat that Colts team. Um, and the schedule gets a little bit easier, not great, but gets easier as the season unfolds. I think you said last year or last week, Jeremy, I think, and then some commentators said during the game, they basically have one more game they can lose, and that's it. So if they would have lost that game, it'd have been a tough road. But the Kansas City Chiefs are a top five team in my opinion. Jeremy, I know you agree.
They're not top five for me, but they got the Cowboys this week, and like that's one of the games. Like I wish both of them could lose.
I know. I don't know who I want to win this
You got the Cowboys coming off the Eagles' comeback win, and now they're going to go to the Super Bowl apparently.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then you got the Chiefs fans that are all hyped up. I mean, it's just like a Super Bowl, like the toilet bowl or something. I don't know, but I wish both of them could lose. But then, so the Chiefs got the Cowboys this week. All right, let's say. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Chiefs are gonna get by the Cowboys.
They
okay.
Yep.
But then they got the Texans, and they got number one defense in football right now, particularly in the secondary. So, and the Chiefs, they still don't have that hang your hat on bell cow wide receiving core like they used to. Like they got some flashes, Rice and Worthy and those guys, but I think the Texans are going to give them heck, man. I really do. So that should be interesting how this plays out. But again, if they lose one game and Denver does not nosedive, they're going to win the division. Like this division could be like if the Cowboys somehow beat the Chiefs this weekend and Denver comes around, like the division's almost decided with 3 or 4 games left in the season.
Yeah.
Right. And it never plays out like that. Let's be honest. But it just but at the end of the day, Denver's got a 3-game lead on. So
yeah,
it's not much wiggle room for the Chiefs.
No.
I'm all Chiefs on Thanksgiving. I got to go with the Chiefs, man.
Me too.
Let them knock out those friggin' cowgirls, man. I mean, and another thing I want to say before you guys. Greenberg on Get Up needs to get off the air. I mean, he was dancing. I mean, how are you on ESPN and showing your favorite teams? We can do it. We're on a podcast. We're amateurs. This guy's professional. And all of a sudden, he's a Cowboy fan. He's a Jets fan, his whole life. But now it's all about the Cowboys. Can't stand them. I need him off the air. That's all I wanted to say.
I didn't know you had such a North Korean policies and politics where if someone you disagree with, you want them off the air and beheaded or whatever you were saying. Yeah, the Cowboys are annoying. I'm a Commanders fan. They're annoying. And talk about the luckiest win ever. I mean, Eagles imploded like we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, and then fumble after fumble. And although that special teams play was incredible, where that guy was getting knocked I don't know his name, got knocked all around. He kept going, and then forced that fumble. I mean, that is talk about a play that all kids should watch about. You keep going to the whistle. I mean, that could have decided the game right there. But
special.
Well, let's go to number 3 on our NFL Power 5. I'll go first this time. I have a team that was a complete embarrassment. Anyone who's a fan of theirs should not show their face in public for at least a month, and that is the Eagles at number 3. And the Eagles are good. The Eagles are good. I joke about it, but that defense is nasty. Jalen Hurts, you're right. The offensive coordinator and the play calling is inconsistent at best. It's like, hey, we're up 21-0. Let's not do any of the things we've been doing for the rest of the game, but especially in the fourth quarter. But they've got all the pieces, and to me, they can hang their hat on their defense. And outside of having multiple fumbles and uncharacteristic fumbles, that's an easy win in Dallas for them, even as a rival. So the Eagles are definitely a top 3 team to me.
All right. All right. My number 3, I moved them up from number 5 last week. And I guess they were off this week. Denver Broncos are my number 3. Sean Payton, he's supposedly a genius and all that. But their next 3 games is kind of what I'm looking at, and I think they're going to be just fine. They got Washington, Vegas, and then Green Bay.
Yeah.
That'll prove a little something, if they're for real, because their last 2 games are Kansas City and the Chargers. But I don't know what the Chargers are, but who the hell knows? But so I got to stick with Denver. They're 9-2, and like Jeremy's saying, I mean they're right now they're running away with that division, and that was supposed to be the strongest division. I think they were saying at the beginning of the year, boy, that's going to
Yeah.
be a strong division, except for the poor Raiders. So I'm going to stick with Denver. That's all I got to say. Sean Payton, as much as I dislike him, he does know how to run an offense.
Yeah. And their team has such a great defense. Jeremy, who do you got at number 3?
I'm at Denver as well. They were idle this week. I hadn't read the status, but I'm sure they got more healthy. I think Surtain was due back next week after this bye week, and that doesn't do anything but make them better, arguably the best DB in football. And again, like Johnny O's already hit on their schedule, they got Commanders, Raiders, Packers, Jaguars, who may be fighting for their life a little bit. So that give them toes. Then they got a head-to-head with the Chiefs, Chargers to end the season. But I really think, they win these next 3 games, that Broncos Chiefs game, it's going to be anticlimactic because they've already got the division wrapped up.
Yep.
Correct.
So, yeah.
They might be fighting for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That might be the only reason to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who do you got number 2, Johnny?
I got the New England Patriots, and I want them in the Power 5. I'm not sure if they're a number 2, but they're 9-2, and then they listen to this: Cincinnati, then the Giants, then Buffalo, which they've already beaten. But their next 3 games are very winnable, and they could be 12-2 after. Or no, they're 10-2 actually right now. They're 10-2. They could be 12-2 going into that Buffalo game, and they're playing great. They didn't pick their schedule. Their schedule is picked for them. You got to give them credit. I got them at number 2. Drake May keeps doing his thing, and Coach Vrabel, has got them believing. They are definitely believing where they are. So I got to stick with them, and they're my number 2. What about you, Jeremy? Jeremy, you there?
I can't hear you.
Oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You can't hear me? Oh, man. Can I pause this? Oh, you got to be kidding me. You there? Oh, that's Jared. What about now?
Sorry about that.
Jeremy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can y'all just hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're all squabbled.
Can you hear me?
I'll keep going. I'll be back.
Jeremy, okay. All right, we got a little pause here. Hopefully they will come back and I can add them back to the stage. Just a little glitch, I should say. We should be fine. Let's see if Jeremy.
I can hear
What
you
about now?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Jared, can you hear us? Jared? There he is.
Is that better?
No, you're all squabbled.
All right. I don't know what the deal is.
No,
that better?
we're good now. We're good. Jeremy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Let's get rolling on this.
All right.
Sorry
So were you at number 2 with New England?
Yes.
Okay, I'm at number 2 with New England as well. They just beat Cincy. So they got the Giants. They got 5 games left, and they got 3 of them that I think they can win no problem. Now, they finish up with the Dolphins, so they may lose that game because they may have it wrapped up and may not play nobody that game. But they got the Giants this week. Then they got the Bills. Now, depending on what Bills team shows up, who knows? So the Bills will be fighting for the life, I'm sure. So they may play well. Then they got Bills, Ravens, who are playing fantastic. But then they got the Jets and Dolphins. Yeah. So kind of anticlimactic here down the stretch for New England. But again, they do have 2 prospective losses in there that I could see and wouldn't be surprised about. So they may be still battling for the number 1 seed, to have, the home field throughout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jared?
At number 2, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about them. This would be an 8-9 win team if Lamar Jackson wasn't out with 3 or 4 games. They're under the radar. They're going to win their division. Pittsburgh's falling off. Aaron Rodgers has heard that defense can't stop anybody, which I just don't get. I don't get Pittsburgh's defense. They're $500 million defense, exaggerated, of course. And I trust the Ravens closing out the season strong and then having that experience over a New England. I think New England is fool's gold in the sense that they're for the most part. I think I looked the other day. Their strength of schedule was like 31st in the NFL. That was a couple of weeks ago. That may have changed, but they're playing cupcakes for the most part. However, I love Drake May. I love Vrabel. I don't like the Patriots organization, except for because they win so much, which is hypocritical because I'm a fan of the Chiefs as my second team. But they know how to get. They turned that organization around. So I like what they're doing, and they are good. But the Ravens, to me, no one's talking about them. And I think at the end of the year, they're going to win their division home. They're going to have a home game, and then have a healthy. If Lamar's healthy going into the playoffs, I think with that monkey on his back that he's had for so long, I think they can do some real damage. And no one's talking about Derrick Henry. No one's talking about the Ravens. I mean, if Mahomes is out 4 games, they're out of the playoffs. If Hurts is out 4 games, they'd probably be undefeated. I mean, they'd be out of the playoffs. So it's like that was a joke about your Jalen Hurts. But so like you got MVP, 3-time MVP that missed 3 or 4 games, and they've quietly won a bunch in a row. So I have the Ravens at number 2.
Yeah, no, that's one of your smarter picks right there. I mean, that's a scary team, to be honest with you. And if they're healthy, look out for them because they just keep moving up and Pittsburgh keeps moving down. Obviously, we all have the same number 1, so we're going to let Jeremy go first on this, and then we'll discuss this. What do we want to call it, man? I mean, these guys are just rolling. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I mean, I'm sure it's got to be the Rams. I mean, They got the best record in football, number 1 seed outright in the NFC with the Philly loss to the Cowboys. Stafford looks fantastic. They're just totally in sync. 2 great wide receivers with Adams and Nakua. Their defense, I don't think is as dominant as Philly, but the difference in the defenses of Philly and the Rams is totally offset, I think, with the efficiency of their offense in Los Angeles. They're just playing lights out. They've hit a stride here, and and you mentioned earlier not having 3 AFC teams in your top 5, and I did this week. I had Denver, Indy, and New England.
Yeah.
But it's simply because the Rams division, the NFC West, is so strong. Like if I had to pick the playoff teams out of the NFC right now, 3 of them are out of the NFC West with Seattle and 49ers.
Yep.
So, that's tough when you got 2 wild cards coming out of the same division, 3 teams coming out in the playoffs coming out of the same division. So, that's where I'm at right now with the NFC, and the Rams are far and away playing the best football right now, in my opinion.
They're peaking maybe too soon, but I don't think so, man.
Yeah, you hate to see it with 5 regular season games left.
All around best team, absolutely balanced. All parts of the game. And I'm just going to throw in one thing and let Jared take over because I'm sure it's got to be the Rams. It better be the Rams, Jared. I mean, I hope you didn't come up with some other maybe the Commanders, because Jaden's coming back. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, here's a little tidbit. Tom Brady, 2 years in a row, had 28 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and that is the best touchdown to interception ratio ever, and he did it twice. Okay. Matthew Stafford is already at 30-2 right now. 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with 6 games left? This is frightening. The Rams are frightening. I don't want to wish anything on any team, but they scare the hell out of me right now. But definitely, by far, the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams should have been a Super Bowl last year, not the Eagles. And so I'm looking forward to them representing representing the NFC going forward. That's no game of BS. Anyhow,
yeah, the Eagles only averaged 45 points a game, I think, in the playoffs. So
no,
that was
that
tough.
was a great playoff run. One of the best in the playoffs.
Just continue on, will you please?
I told you, I had the Arizona Cardinals at number 1. No, it's the Rams. The Rams are incredible. It's just, I hope they can stay healthy because I like Sean McVay. Matthew Stafford, exile basically in Detroit for 10 plus years. And it was like 2 weeks ago, he finally went over 500 for his career with his record as a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like he's been winning for so long, but you forget he was losing for so long.
Yeah.
And at the time, they had bad ownership of Detroit for so many years and bad management that obviously has changed in the last few years. But yeah, the Rams are a great story. I hope they can stay healthy because if they can, they will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Good stuff.
And that NFC Championship won't be in Philly this year; it'll be in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
that's right.
Own the home field.
Yeah, but it'll be half Philadelphia fans if it's there though. They travel well.
Well, again, LA fans aren't very reliable for sure.
Well, the LA fans will show up in the second half. They like to show up a little late.
That's right.
But listen, a couple of our sponsors here, Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice, unique piece in Brian's showroom. You can find Estate Jewelry Loan at 2511 Battleground Ave in Greensboro, and also you can go to estatejewelryloan.com. Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. He's got a food truck, catering, daily specials, and you can go to salsaritas.com for the menu. Shank and Torrance Insurance, located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance, and you can reach him at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. And let's welcome 4 Real 24. That's Real Golf Indoors Anytime. Great golf facility offering iconic golf courses and state-of-the-art equipment indoors. And it's a good time to start doing that because the weather's going to be changing pretty quickly here. They're going to do memberships, but they also do just regular tee times as well. So it doesn't matter if you're a member. If there's an open tee time, he'll let you in. And you can go see Clay Jordan over there. And they look like they're going to try to open next week sometime.
Well, excellent. All right, so we're talking about J.J. McCarthy. Was that a huge mistake? Let's go to Jeremy first. Are they going to regret that for years to come, not re-signing Sam Darnold to a 3 to 4 year contract, 3 to 5? Sam Darnold, what is he, 30, 29, 30? Forget, he's still young. A 5-year contract, or is this, too early to tell with J.J. McCarthy? Because right now, it's like, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's too early to tell. I mean, realistically, this is his rookie year. I mean, he had the knee injury last year, and, of course, Darnold was Darnold. You have to wonder, we've been having this discussion if J.J. McCarthy doesn't injure his knee last year, where they gave Darnold the opportunity,
Yeah.
So it's 6 and 1/2 dozen another. You could literally Monday morning quarterback and say, oh, man, it was a total bad decision. Look what Darnold's doing now. But nobody predicted Darnold would, everybody was thinking JJ would start last year, and Darnold would be in a backup role, not him stepping in as a starter, JJ not playing, winning 14 games for the Vikings. And so, it's kind of that situation. The Vikings were kind of married to McCarthy having, got him with the number one pick. And so they had to deal Darnold. And it worked out well for Darnold. Darnold's in a great situation. He got his money, got paid, and stuff like that. But for a Vikings organization, it's very easy to, Monday morning quarterback and say they made a bad decision. But, I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Like, let's give McCarthy a fair shake. I mean, this is basically his rookie year. He didn't play any last year. So he's shown flashes. But again, he's not Darnold, what Darnold's doing now. But Darnold wasn't Darnold 5-6 years ago when he's playing for the Panthers either. So, I'm not saying it was a bad move. I'm not. I mean, if you want immediate success, sure, it was a bad move, but you couldn't afford it. That'd have been a lot of money in two quarterbacks, and only one can play at a time. So, I think they had to do what was best long term for that organization.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Darnold proved himself last year with that team, and I just think it was kind of disappointing they gave up on him. But and JJ McCarthy, it wasn't like he lit it up in college. I mean, now national championship, and all that, but I mean, he wasn't like throwing, big numbers and this and that. That's why it just kind of surprised me a little bit.
Not like won the Heisman or anything, just
yeah. To put all your money on him was a little disturbing, and it has failed miserably. To this point, you're right. I mean, the guy, let's give this guy a chance, but he's at a 54% clip right now with 6 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. I mean, wow, that's nasty. I mean, it couldn't be any worse right now.
I mean, not saying he's going to be, but look how many interceptions. How many interceptions did Peyton Manning throw his rookie year?
No, I got you.
He had a record. So not saying he's Peyton Manning, but at the end of the day, there is room for improvement. Hopefully, he's approaching this professionally, watching the film, learning every day, and stuff like that, and hopefully, it'll come into fruition for him.
Yeah.
Hey, more on John. Oh, go ahead, John. What were you saying?
True fact about interceptions. Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame, and he threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
That is weird. Everybody sees. I'm like, how?
Yeah, it is.
That's that Jets prediction. I think got him in right off the bat. But with being such underdogs. I'm more on Johnny's way of thinking, except for mine is more elevated and intelligent. The number one thing you need in the NFL to win is a quarterback. And you got a quarterback that won you 14 games. He's in sync with Justin Jefferson, who last year I think many would concede and say is the best receiver in all of the NFL. And obviously he's taking a step back because he has a bag of potato chips thrown into him, actually thrown into the team more. And he's a young dude. Yeah, of course, we don't know about his career, but Darnold was 29 last year. He could have gave you 7 to 10 more years staying healthy as a bona fide starting quarterback who has shown. I mean, what was he, number one pick out of his draft class, and then he went to he was in the worst organizations, and the Panthers and the Jets, and he was back in San Fran, I think, or was San Fran? Yeah. And then
it was.
Word got out like, hey, we like this guy, and give him a chance, and I think it's a huge mistake. McCarthy has no track record of being an elite quarterback. He was on an elite team in Michigan, but they're a run-heavy team. I think he averaged 150 yards passing in college, where some college football players are averaging 400 yards passing. So nothing against them. I'm sure the career could be long. We could see a Mayfield or a Darnold type thing. It's so much emphasis on the quarterback and training. I think.
All right, we lost them again. Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just, I mean, it's so easy to say this, but like if Darnold doesn't have the year he had last year, take it this way. If the Vikings knew Darnold was going to have the year he did last year, they would have never picked J.J. McCarthy in the draft.
Right.
So it's a million different ways to look at this.
Yeah.
Darnold did not have the track record. Yes, he was drafted. You the Jets thing, the Panthers thing, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Nobody would have predicted Darnold would have had 14 wins with the Vikings last year.
No.
Nobody.
No.
And the Vikings were doing and what they felt like was in their best interest based off evaluations and stuff like that in the draft. McCarthy was there. They felt like they had to take him based on their scouting department, player personnel department.
Yeah, you can look at it a lot of different ways. It just, it just doesn't look good right now.
I mean, it would have been great if they could have. If I don't think, So Darnold was an unrestricted free agent, so he was able to sign with Seattle. It would have been great if the Vikings, since they took that chance on him and gave him an opportunity, if they could have traded him, got something for him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that type of situation. So. He got him 14 wins, but he also, the Vikings also allowed him a stage to propel his career.
Right. No doubt. All right, Jared, you back with us?
Yeah. I mean,
you're a little froggy. Does he sound froggy to you, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to mess up y'all's rhythm.
Yeah, we're gonna remove him. Seriously, that sounds horrible. But how about a real quick? We'll end the show on Lane Kiffin. I mean, my God, how many jobs does he need to have? I don't know if you've been following this. LSU and Florida want to pay him, 10, whatever it is, $10, $12 million a year, $90 million, $100 million contract. But Ole Miss, they're number 6 in the country, and they're right in this playoff situation. He's doing a great job. I actually love watching I've been watching Ole Miss. I mean, that's how good they are. And he's making some decision this Saturday. I mean, I would lose all respect if he leaves there, because now the latest today was Ole Miss has offered him the exact same money for him to stay. So I'm hoping he stays. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Lane Kiffin. I think he's an absolute genius when it comes to football. But, I mean, really, if he left, would this – I mean, it goes hand in hand with his track record, right? He left Tennessee in a bind. He left USC in a bind. Al Davis had some unpleasant things to say about him, when he was with the Raiders. I think he's a genius. It takes nothing away from him as a football coach, but at the same time, I can't blame Kiffin fully. The NCAA or whatever damn governing body is there even a governing body in the college sports right now? Who knows? But there needs to be a consensus rules in place. Saban hit on this in an interview over the weekend. You should not be able to recruit players while they're in season, and you should not be able to recruit coaches while they're in season.
Absolutely.
This is crazy. I would feel horrible for these players if Kiffin up and left and then their season went into turmoil and they didn't make the playoffs after this body of work they put together thus far.
That's right.
So, but at the same time, there's no rules in place. There's no rules in place. So it's just I compare it to Major League Baseball back in the day, back in the steroid era.
Yeah.
That Major League Baseball has never taken ownership of this. They threw all those guys under the bus, not letting them in the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. They took steroids. Major League Baseball didn't have a testing procedure in place.
They didn't.
So, they've never taken ownership of that. You got me on my soapbox this. But at the same time, Kiffin is going to take, if he leaves, he's going to be the biggest a-hole there ever was. But at the end of the day, there's no rules in place.
Yeah.
There's no rules in place to protect the players, his current players. And this is going to continue to happen, like Saban said, until something is done. Yeah. There needs to be dates in place saying you can't do this until this date. You can't recruit this player until this date. If they don't start, they've opened up Pandora's box with this whole NIL stuff with all this stuff, and it's gotten out of hand. And it's going to come to a head here, and I think this may be the start of it.
Yeah.
But you really can't blame Kiffin. There's no rules in place.
No.
And he's got to do what's best for his family. Now, granted, all of it's kind of even. I think he did, Ole Miss, people like again, like we talked about on a couple podcasts, there's this hierarchy now, even within the SEC. Like LSU and Florida look like this big mountain snubbing their nose down at Ole Miss.
Right.
Ole Miss can be as big as you want them to be.
I think so.
LSU and Florida have a more immediate history. You can make your history right here at Ole Miss. I think it comes down to where you want to live.
Yeah.
They're going to pay you a lot of money. Where you want to live? Where are you comfortable?
And I think that's a big part of it right there. If he leaves, where you probably want to live in Florida. Or I don't know. I wouldn't want to live.
I love the state of Florida, but Gainesville is not. If I'm moving to the state of Florida, Gainesville's not on my list. They're not even in my top 20.
How about Louisiana? No, thanks.
I mean, yeah, Baton Rouge is. I mean, you got New Orleans down the street, but seriously, Baton Rouge. I mean, he's got Oxford, Mississippi, which is awesome, and it's right down the street from Memphis. Like, I don't know. I think he needs to stay put.
And I hope he does. But we got to wait till Saturday. I guess they play on Friday, and he's gonna. You know what? I mean, the great thing would be, because I like the guy, and the last couple of years I'm saying I thought he finally was going to stay somewhere, and he's building that program. Look where they are; they're fantastic right now.
And there's plenty of alumni money there if you build a successful program. It's going to come just like we talked about with Virginia Tech and their recent hiring. Virginia Tech's going to build a mountain now that they got somebody to rest their hat on.
Yeah, no doubt. So I hope he stays. But don't leave everyone in limbo and all that. But if he says he's he's got to stay. If he says he's going to be leaving after the season when his team is in the middle of this playoff, I mean they're ready to make a move here. It would be the worst thing I've ever seen as far as a coach leaving. And there's been some bad things, but this would be really bad. So.
Well, Kiffin is in a perfect situation. He's the most wanted coach I've ever seen, probably since Saban.
Every time. Yeah.
And he could set a precedence here. He could say, look, I got a team that's playing their ass off for me every week. We got a shot here. I'm not telling you squat until after we're done.
Yep.
He could do that, but he's not.
Why doesn't he? But I agree with you 100%. He has that power, man. He could go coach anywhere in the nation right now,
sure.
And so why? I think Saban would do that, but I don't know. And I think Kiffin has almost as much power as Saban had.
Oh, I do too. I mean, he's calling the shots right now, and I think it would set a nice precedent and keep his players currently focused.
Yeah.
If he said, you know what, I'm not telling y'all squat. I'm worried about my team right now and us making a playoff run.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would probably piss LSU and Florida off, but not to the point where they wouldn't consider hiring him.
Exactly. If they want him bad enough, they'll wait.
Yeah. But, I mean, he calls. I mean, he could pick up the phone right now and say, Penn State, I want that job, and they'd be all right.
Yeah.
Let's get the contract drawn up. He's in a powerful position right now, and I don't think he's setting a good precedent. I think he has the power to right this ship, at least for this year, in hopes of getting some rules in place. There has to be rules. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. These coaches, when both teams come together in midfield to shake hands, these coaches from other teams are wooing and talking to these other players.
Yep. Yeah.
If they're going to hit the transfer portal, we're interested in stuff like that. There has to be some rules in place.
It's a mess. It is a mess, man, and it's disturbing. It really is.
I mean, they ruined college football in my eyes. Like I don't watch college football like I did. And, it's most money wins. I mean, it's just it's tainted it a little bit to me. They've got to reel this thing back in. Like I said, they've opened up Pandora's box, and here we are. With 4 or 5 years in NIL. And we're talking tens and $20 million. These players. I mean, this is crazy. This is nuts. It's professional football. It's not college football.
No.
It's not college football.
It's so far from being college football. They're lucky they still have the atmosphere going and all that. But it's a whole different ball.
I think that's the next bubble. they're going to get into these luxury suites, more of these boxes, make it more corporate, and you know, downgrade the student section and stuff like that. I think it's a moment. It's a matter of time.
Absolutely.
They're getting overwhelmed with the money they're making now, and then they'll figure out, well, how can we make more? And here come the luxury boxes and stuff like that. I mean, it's sickening, man. It's sickening.
All about the dollar, man. It's all about the dollar. But all right, man. Well, another great show. Appreciate you being on. And listen, have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, bud. You too. I look forward to sharing some texts back and forth. We got games all weekend, so it's spread out across the board.
A lot going on. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, Johnny. Thank you.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jeremy and Johnny.